So hello students, welcome to Karnataka. I'm your master teacher Vasraj. Right, students, we started off with organism and population, part 1, last week we ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. Okay now. So today is the first session of your KCET. Right, the part 2 of your organism and population. Now first part we started off with something called as population interaction and everything. Right. So in this class now, our main focus is going to be the population interaction. Last class we learned about different types of age pyramid ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, expanding, declining, stable, all that we faced in the previous class. Is the voice echoing? Let me just check. Let me just check. Is the voice echoing? ಹೌದು. ಒಂದೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇದು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದೇ ನಿಮಿಷ. ಯಾವುದು ಒಂದು ಆಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. Okay, now you check students. Now you check. Is the voice echoing right now? Check quickly, check and tell me. Is the voice echoing right now? ಕುಶ್ಮಿತಾ, ತ್ರಿಷಾ, ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈಗ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಎಕೋ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗ. ಓಕೆ, ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೈಸ್. ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗ. ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ನಾವೀಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ NCERT. ಎನಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮೀ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೀ, ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಈ ಲೈನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನಂಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರಾ? ಡೌಟ್ ಡೀಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ? So any line of NCERT, if you don't understand, you're supposed to ask me, sir, I am not able to understand this line, can you explain again? Okay, so with that students, I want everyone to carry 3 things. All of you keep a pencil with you, open your NCERT along with me, and at the same time I want everyone to keep a water bottle also with you. Okay, because we'll be reading a lot now. Okay, so with that students, let's start the chapter. Every single time, any doubt, ask me. Okay, start madada. Now students, can you think of any natural habitat on earth that is inhabited just by a single species? ಯೋಚನೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? Anywhere in the earth where a single species is there? ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Every single place organisms will be in a group. ಒಂದು ಟೈಗರ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್, ಬರ್ಡ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್, ಫಿಶ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್, every single organism ಯಾವತ್ತು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, there is no such habitat and such a situation even in inconceivable. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅತ್ರ ಇರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸರಿನಾ? For any species, the minimal requirement is one more species on which it can feed. ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಇದು? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ನ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಂತ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಹಾಪರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಹಾಪರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗೂ. ಇವನ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಅಲೋನ್. ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವನ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಸರ್ವೈವ್. ಯಾಕೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಗ್ರೇಡೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾವತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬ್ಸ್ to break down the organic matter in the soil and return the inorganic nutrients for the absorption. So plants ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಬೇರೆ ಸಾಥಿಗಳದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ. ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಇರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್? ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಹನಿ ಬೀಸು ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹನಿ ಬೀಸು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದೇ ಸತಿಗೆ ಮಾಯ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಈವನ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ದೆನ್? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ವೇರ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ ಹನಿ ಬೀಸ್? ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Because plants most of the times always use honeybees or any type of insects or birds for pollination. Yes, there is wind, water, everything is there, but insects are the majority of the population which help in pollination. Okay, now it is obvious that in nature, animals, plants and microbes do not and cannot live isolated but interact in various ways to form a biological community. Okay, even in minimal communities, many interactive linkages exist, although all may not be readily apparent. So ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆನೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೌ interspecific interactions arise from interaction of population of 2 different species. Right? Interspecific interaction ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಈ ವರ್ಡ್. ಇಂಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಂದು ಲಯನ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲಯನ್ ಇದೆ. 2 lions are fighting. That is called as intraspecific. Intraspecific. What do I mean by interspecific? The meaning of interspecific is that lion and tiger, 2 different species are fighting or communicating. That is called as interspecific interaction. Lion tiger bere species, so that is called as interspecific interactions, arise from interaction of population of 2 different species, one tiger, one lion. Artha aita? Now they could be beneficial, detrimental. Beneficial andre useful, detrimental andre harmful, hanikaraka, sarna, or neutral, nam ಕೆಲ್ಸನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆರಾಮಾಗಿದೆ, ಸರ್ನಾ? ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಟು ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬೋತ್ ಅಸೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್. ಯಾವತ್ತು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್, ಮೈನಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್. ಮೈನಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್. ನಾವು ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್? ಝೀರೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್. ಸೊ ಆನ್ that basis we have different types of interactions. For example students, we have mutualism. Mutualism andre plus plus, competition andre minus minus. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ಗೂ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಫೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರಾ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಫೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರಾ. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ವೈಸ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ರೂಮಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರು, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಗೆ. ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ನೌ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇಸ್ ಎನಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟಿಂಗ್ ದರ್? ನೋ, ಬೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ದಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನೌ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಎಸ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ಆ ಥರದ್ದು, ಸರ್ನಾ? Predation, one is benefited, other one is harmed. Parasitism, parasitism also, one is benefited, one is harmed. Commensalism, one is benefited, other one is neutral. ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್. They don't care only. Okay. Now amensalism is one is negative, other one is neutral again. Now students, one small game adada. Ready na? One small game. Now I will give you exactly 1 minute time ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. 1 minute time ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. In this 1 minute, I want you to remember this. So as soon as you have done, just say done sir in the chat, and I will start asking questions. Your time starts now. 1 minute alli try to remember this entire paragraph, then I will ask you question. Go. Time starts now. Exactly 1 minute time ನಿಮಗೆ. ಒಂದು ಟೈಮರ್ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡೋದು, 1 ನಿಮಿಷ. Three, 2, 1, go. Exactly 1 minute time ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ. As soon as you are done, just say done sir in the chat, or 30 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸಾಕು. 30 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸಾಕಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ, ಸರ್ನಾ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ. ಸವಿತ್ರಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡದ? ಸಾವಿತ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡದ? ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ವೇಟ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್. ಒನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸೋದು at least first. Once the syllabus gets over, then we can solve on PYQ. See, without doing syllabus, how can you solving questions? Artha agtidya? So don't worry. Okay. Last 30 seconds to go. Once you are done, just say done sir. Ellaru, everyone, because I'll ask you questions now from this table. Okay. You have 20 more seconds. 10 seconds is ashte. Last 10 seconds to go. Just say when you're done, just say done sir. I will ask you what are the symbols here. Aste. Okay, 1 ನಿಮಿಷ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಯಿತು. Now students, I will ask you questions. The symbol, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ನ ಕಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ರೆಡಿನಾ? ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ರೆಡಿ? ರೆಡಿ? Everyone. Okay. Tell me, what is the symbol for competition? Go. Everyone in the chat, quickly. What is the symbol for competition? Let's see how many of you can tell me. The symbol for competition. Competition is plus plus or minus minus? Competition is minus minus. Competition is minus minus. Amazing. Okay. Next question. What is the symbol for, let's say, amensalism? What is the symbol for amensalism? Let's see how many of you can tell me. Let's see. Amensalism. And students, let me tell you again. Nimdo 12th PUC board exam do syllabus timetable aache bandide. All of you are aware, right? Your 12th board exam timetable is out. You have exactly 3 months left. December, January, February. December, January, February, 3 months to go. That is all. So finish your syllabus. Finish ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲ syllabusನ. By the month of January, February ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ syllabus ಮುಗಿದಿರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ದು January ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ. In February, you can do revision, question practice, question bank ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದ ಆಮೇಲೆ. So by February, by January, entire syllabus should get over. Promise ಎಲ್ಲರೂ? So that is your amensalism is minus 0. Amensalism is minus 0. Sarina? So with that being said, students, let's start reading one by one now. Okay, let's start reading by one now. Okay. Now students, is para nodi ellaru. Tell me what comes to your mind when you think about this image. Heli nange. What is coming to your mind right now when you think of this image on the board? Tell me students. Mind ಏನು ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಏನು? ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಬೇಡ. ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಈ ಇಮೇಜ್ ನೋಡಿ. ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ನೌ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟೂ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್. ಯಾವುದು ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಪ? ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್? ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ವಿಚ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್? ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಎ or picture number B? Which one is predation? Tell me now students. Tell me which one is predation? B or A? ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಇನ್ನ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿಯಲ್ಲಿ one tiger, a lion is eating a deer is a typical example of predation. But what if I tell you students, this also is a predation? Why? Because the insect is eating a seed. So this also is a predation. So ನಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ನೀವು. When I talk about predation, even a herbivore, that is people who eat plants, even a carnivore, the animals which eat other animals, both of them are doing predation. ಇಬ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್. It could be a chimpanzee, or it could be a gorilla, or it could be a lion. Both of them are doing predation here. One is eating the plants, one is eating other animal. Sarina? So if you're eating chapati, if you're eating rice, technically you are also a predator. Sarina? So all of you are also predators ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ. Sarina? Now students, so with that, let's start about predation now. ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಏನೋ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? What would happen to all the energy fixed by the autotrophic organisms if community has no animal to eat the plants? Plants survive ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay? You can think of predation as a nature's way of transferring to higher trophic level the energy fixed by the plants. ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇದು, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. Now I'll make you write down something called as advantages of predation. ಹೌದು, ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇದು. ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, right? For example, let's say here I have a plant. Okay, this plant is eaten by a grasshopper. This grasshopper is eaten by a frog. This frog is eaten by a snake. Now students, tell me, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಈ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ಹೋಪರ್ ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ನ ತಿಂತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ would there be transfer of energy from plant to grasshopper? Tell me. Absolutely not. Just because this grasshopper is eating the plant, all the energy present inside the plant is now transferred to the grasshopper. Yes or no? At the same time, when this frog is eating the grasshopper, basically the predation, when this is happening, all the energy in the grasshopper is transferred to the frog. So when one organism is eating other organism, what is happening? The energy is being transferred. That is the advantage of predation. There is always transfer of energy because of predation. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ all the energy would have stored in the plants only. All the energy would have been stored in the plants itself. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Now, when we think about predators and prey, the most probably it is the tiger and the deer that readily comes to our mind. But a sparrow eating any seed is no less than a predator. So if a sparrow is eating a seed, that also is predation or predation. Although animals eating plants are categorized separately as herbivores, they are in broad ecological context not very different from predators. So your herbivores are also predators. Sarna? Now, besides acting as a conduit for energy transfer, conduit andre responsible for energy transfer, okay, across a trophic level, predators play another important role. They keep the prey population under control. Very important line, students, very important line. So next point is what, students? They keep the prey population under control. They keep prey population under control. Artha madkoli point now. What will happen? Tell me, all of you tell me what will happen if the grasshopper here suddenly disappears. This is a predator. This right here, okay, let's take not take grasshopper, let's take frog. What will happen if the frog disappears completely? Tell me now. In this food chain, what will happen if the frog population completely disappears? This predator right here completely disappears, then tell me what would happen. The first thing would be what, students? The first repercussion or the first effect would be, ಈ grasshopper ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ frog ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, can I tell the population of frog will increase suddenly? Yes or no? Tell me, students. Will the population of frog increase suddenly? It will increase. But at the same time, can I tell the snake population will decrease now? It will decrease. Yes, because there is no frog there. Now, students, tell me, if the grasshopper population is increasing, more grasshopper, less the plants. Tumma grasshopper rehti na dekhe. Now, just because one animal is missing from a food chain, can I tell there would be entire disbalance in the ecology? Entire ecosystem tumma collapse agbidutta? Agutte. So that is the importance of a predator. That is the importance of a predator in an entire population. So they keep their prey population under control. So if there is no frog, grasshopper population will increase. So they keep the prey population under control. ಈ grasshopper population control ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಈ frog. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್? Concept is very important now. Okay, next line. Okay, but for predators, prey species could achieve a very high population densities and cause ecological instability. Instability. When certain exotic species are introduced into a geographical area, artha enidu? Very simple. You school idira, you are in school. Some new transfer is coming to your school. ಯಾರೋ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಫುಲ್ ಒಂದು ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಹೊಸೊಬ್ರಿದ್ದು? ವೇರ್ ಡಿಡ್ ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್? You'll ask a lot of questions. Same thing will happen in an ecological area also. If you have an ecological area, if you introduce some random organism into a ecosystem, entire dynamics will change of the ecosystem. Understand now? They become invasive and start spreading fast, and because the invading land does not have a natural predator. Artha eno? For example, students, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಕ್ಸಿಕೋ ಇದೆ. For example, this is Mexico. This is India. Okay. For example, from Mexico, I am taking a frog. Exotic species. A frog from Mexico, I am bringing into India. Frog from Mexico to India. Now, what is happening here is, in India, the frog population will increase very fast. Why? Because in Mexico, this frog was eaten by a snake. There was a snake which was eating the frog, so population was under control. It was under control. But here, what is happening now here? Since we only got the frog here and there is no predator, the population of this frog will increase. Now tell me students, what is the solution to this? What can we do to keep the population of frog under control in India now? Can anyone think of a solution? Very smart solution. Anyone? You will say, Ella frog now. They will reproduce very fast. So what can be done to control the population of frog now? Very simple solution, I'll tell you. The very most simple solution is that take the snake from Mexico and bring the snake also to India. So if you get the frog, also get the snake also to India, and the snake, if it comes to India, this snake will automatically start eating the frog and the population will start to reduce. So can I get 95% in boards in start studying now? Absolutely. Every single day 2 to 3 hours saku. Every single day 3 hours odre saku neenu board exam 95% pakka baratte. That is the guarantee. Sarna? So artha the concept illarguno. So what we do is we are getting the predator, we are getting the prey, but we are also getting the predator along with it. Sarna? One example in NCERT kodidare nodi. Example kodidare pelli. Example kodidare nodi ondo prickly pear cactus anta. Okay. The prickly pear cactus, PPC, prickly pear cactus introduced into Australia in early 1920s caused havoc by spreading rapidly into millions of hectares of rangeland. So, this PPC itala prickly pear cactus. This prickly pear cactus wide spread aitu Australia. In Australia, it starts spreading very fast in Australia. Prickly pear cactus. Why? Because there is no natural predator is not present here. The natural predator is absent here. This prickly pear cactus there is nothing, no one to eat prickly pear cactus. The prickly pear cactus will start to grow very fast. It will start growing very fast. Okay. Now, caused havoc by spreading rapidly into millions of hectares of rangeland. Finally, the invasive cactus was brought under control only after a cactus feeding predator moth from its natural habitat was introduced into the country. So, what happened? This was growing exponentially. This was growing. So, what did we do? We also bought a moth. Now, we only moth. So, we also got the moth. We also got the moth, and this moth was feeding on the prickly pear cactus, and the population came under control. Population finally came under control because by introducing the natural predator. Now we'll madadvala like how here to reduce the population of frog. To reduce the population of frog, we also got the snake. Similarly, in Australia, to reduce the population of prickly pear cactus, they introduced the moth here. Okay, from its natural habitat. Biological control method adopted in agriculture pest control are based on the ability of the predator to regulate the prey population. So, if you know the chapter plant growth, if you know the chapter that is microbes, in microbes chapter we learn a ladybird can control the population of aphids. A dragonfly can control the population of your mosquitoes, right? So, nucleopolyhedrovirus can control the population of insects. So, a predator can control the population of a prey. Second point is full examples kodidare nimge. Second point ige. Okay. Next one. To regulate the population, predators also help in maintaining the species diversity in a community. Artha ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ತುಂಬಾ important concept ಇದು ಕೂಡ. Third point is what students? Third point is they help in they keep species diversity. They keep species diversity. Yengappa artha ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Students, how many of you watched the King Kong movie? Raise your hands. How many of you watched the King Kong movie? Okay, King Kong bidi nodilla ankotini. How many of you watched KGF? Tell me. KGF nodidira ellaru KGF. If you watch KGF movie, you will know when the main boss is there in the town. When the main boss Yash irbekadre, will the other small right hand, left hand, will they fight for the top position? Tell me yes or no. They'll not fight. They know. They know that there is Rocky Bai is there. He is the top. Other left hand, right hand, they're not very strong as Rocky Bai, and they will keep quiet. They'll keep quiet. Okay, they'll keep quiet. They're like, okay, left hand, right hand, I will keep quiet. Okay, but now what will happen? Tell me. Now, what if I remove the Rocky Bhai from an area? Now there is no more boss. Now tell me, is there a chance that the right hand, left hand, will they start fighting among each other for the top position? Tell me now, will they start fighting among each other? Will they fight? Yes, they will fight. So this is what also happens in nature. In nature also what happens is there is a top predator. The top predator will make sure the remaining small organisms are not fighting among each other. Okay, so a main Rocky Bhai ಇರೋ ತನಕ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. they'll respect him and they will be under his control. ಅರ್ಥ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾನೆ. So that is they keep the species diversity. That is the advantage of predation. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. Okay, there is an example here. Example, very good example given in NCERT. Okay, by reducing the intensity of the competition among the competing species in the rocky intertidal community of American Pacific coastals, there is a starfish. ಒಂದು starfish ಇದೆ. For example, ಇದೊಂದು ಬಾಸ್ ಇದು. ಒಂದು starfish boss ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. That is called as Pysaster. Okay, Pysaster or Pysaster. There is a top boss here. Okay. ಈ ಟಾಪ್ ಬಾಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಲಿಂಗ್ there are many invertebrates. There are many invertebrates. Invertebrates under the control. Now what do we do? In an experiment, what we do is we remove the starfish. This starfish was completely removed from a habitat. If this starfish is completely removed from a habitat, this invertebrates started fighting among each other. They started fight among each other, and within 10 years they became extinct. Many of them became extinct. See here, starfish is an important predator. In a field experiment, when all the starfish were removed from the enclosed intertidal area, more than 10 species of invertebrates became extinct within 1 year. ಒಂದೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ more than 10 different species, not organisms, 10 different species of invertebrates became completely extinct. Why? Because of the fight. Okay, because of the interspecific competition. So it shows that having a predator on top is very important. So what will predator do, students? A predator will transfer the energy. They keep the prey population under control. They keep species diversity. 3 main points of advantage of predators. Done and dusted. Done, students. Done. Okay. So if a predator is too efficient and overexploits its prey, then the prey might become extinct and following it. I'll give you a simple example. ನಿಮ್ದು ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಇವತ್ತು ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರಾ? When they go to the native, do they give you some money and go? Right? Yes or no? When your parents are going to the native, ಎಲ್ಲ ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ they'll give you some money. For example, I'll give you a simple example. They're going for 3 days. They're going for 3 days trip to the native, and they're giving you 500 rupees. They're giving you 500 rupees as pocket money. Okay. Now, how do you spend it? Tell me, students. How do you spend this 500 rupees for 3 days? Is there a chance that you will spend the entire 500 rupees in 1 day only? Full party ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಒಂದಿಸದಲ್ಲೇ? ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Or do you divide? Okay, 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. First day I will spend 100 rupees. Second day I will spend 100 rupees. And third day I will spend 100 or 200. 100 rupees I'll keep it as savings. ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ತಾನೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆತ ನೀವು? Same thing is happening in the nature also. Your tiger is making sure it is not eating all the deer at once. For example, this is a forest. For example, in this forest, I have 100 deer. Okay, 100 deer. I have 100 deer in this particular forest. 100 deer in this forest. Okay, 100 deer in this forest. Now, what if a lion is coming? And eating all the 100 deer in 1 month? In 1 month, it is eating all the 100 deer. Then the entire population will go extinct. So tiger also, lion or tiger plan ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಕೂಡ. ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋದೇ 100 deers. ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡೋಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು 10 ತಿಂದರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಬೈ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಐ ಕಮ್ ಟು 10th month ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್ ಡಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 500 rupees ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಅ ಡಿಯರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲಯನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಈಟ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಸರಿನಾ. ದ ಪ್ರೆಡೇಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್. This is the reason why predators in nature are prudent. It means very calculative. Okay. Prey species have evolved various defense lessons. For example, obviously, ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ನೇಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಬನ್ನ ತಿನ್ಬಿಡಿ ನೀವು. ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಸೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಫೈಟ್. ನೀವೇ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸವನ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಯು, ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಡೂ? ಡಾಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೊಡಿತೀರಾ? ನೀವು ಕೂಡ you will fight back, no, to some extent you will fight back. Same thing is happening in the nature also. In nature alli every single organism has a defense mechanism. Artha ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Prey species have evolved various defenses to lessen the impact of predation. Example ನೋಡಿ, some species of insects and frogs are cryptically colored, that is camouflage, to avoid being detected easily. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? See, now I told you there's a frog, you can see it. Now try to imagine this frog in a forest. Try to imagine this frog in one big forest. You can't even identify this frog. ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇದು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. This is called as camouflage. So many frogs and insects, they become colored. Camouflage ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದು, ಸರಿನಾ. Some are poisonous and therefore avoided by the predator. Example poisonous ಏನಿಲ್ಲಿ, the monarch butterfly is highly distasteful in its predator bird because of the special chemical present in its body. Interestingly, the butterfly acquires this chemical during its caterpillar stage by feeding on the poisonous weed. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ, that is monarch butterfly. ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನೀವು ನನಗೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರಿ, ಐ ಮೇಟ್ ಯು ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್, ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಗೇವ್ ಯು ಒನ್ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್, ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. This chocolate was very, very bad tasting. I gave you the chocolate. Now tell me, students, next day if I come to school again and I give you the same chocolate, will you eat it? Tell me, students, will you eat it? ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬರ್ದು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನೀವು ಅಂತೀರಾ ಏನೋ ಇದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡೋ, ಇವನು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತ. You will not eat the chocolate again because of the experience from the previous day. Same thing happens. For example, one bird is eating the monarch butterfly, and this monarch butterfly is very distasteful, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿದು, ಓಕೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ ಬರ್ಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೋಡುತ್ತಾ ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈನ, ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಅಂತ, ಸರಿನಾ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as defense mechanism. ಸರಿನಾ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್, herbivores are predators. Nearly 25% of all insects are known as your phytophags, basically insect feeding on plant sap and other parts of plant. The problem is particularly severe for plants because unlike animals, they cannot run away. For example, a lion is coming. As soon as the lion is coming, all the monkeys will start to shout. All the monkeys will run away. Okay, but what about a plant, students? If a goat is coming and eating the plant cannot run away. It has to stay in one spot only. Plant ಗೆ ಓಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ ಅದು. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅದು. So the predation is very difficult for the plants. Very, very difficult for the plants, predation. Sarna. From the plants therefore have evolved astonishingly variety of morphological and chemical defense against herbivores. So plants ಕೂಡ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. So plants have decided, ನಾನು ಓಡೋದಂತೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನಿಂತ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಭಯ ಪಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಏನು ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸು? Plants will wear a special type of coat, a jacket. They will have ಇದು ಮುಳ್ಳು ನೋಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ ರೋಸ್ ಗಿಡ. when you try to go pluck rose flower, lot of spines. ಇದು ನಿಂಬೆಹಣ್ಣು ಗಿಡ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಂಬೆಹಣ್ಣು ಗಿಡನ ನೀವು ಮುಟ್ಟಿ ಹೋಗಿ, there are thorns everywhere. So plants have defense mechanism against predators. Example ನೋಡಿ, acacia and cactus are the most common morphological means of defense. Many plants produce, ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇದು, ಸರಿನಾ, Many plants produce and store chemicals that make herbivores sick when they are eaten, inhibit feeding for digestion, disruption in reproduction, even killing it. You must have seen the calotropis. ನೋಡಿದಿರ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ calotropis ನ? ನೋಡಿದಿರ calotropis ಎಲ್ಲರೂ? ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಇದು calotropis. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ ರೋಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೆಳೀತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. calotropis ನೀವು ಮುರಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಾಲು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. It's called latex. It's basically a type of your sap. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಕ್ಯಾಲಟ್ರೋಪಿಸ್. ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಲಟ್ರೋಪಿಸ್ನ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕವ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಗೋಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲಟ್ರೋಪಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಪಾಯ್ಸನಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲಟ್ರೋಪಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಎ ಕಾರ್ಡಿಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಸೈಡ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, NCERT ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಇದು ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟೇಷನು. ಥಾರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅಕೇಶಿಯಾ, ಈ ಥರ ಥಾರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಪೈನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಸ್, ಕಾಂಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಟಚ್ ಇಟ್. ಸರಿನಾ? ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, calotropis growing in abandoned fields, the plant produces highly poisonous cardiac glycoside. Very important line. It produces highly poisonous cardiac glycoside. Okay, and that is why you never see any cattle or goat browsing on this plant. A wide variety of chemical substances that we extract from plants for commercial scale, that is nicotine ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, caffeine, coffee, caffeine, quinine, ಸ್ಟೈರ್ಷಿನ್, opium, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, all of these are basically chemicals produced by the plants for defense mechanism. ನಿಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು. It is produced by the plants for themselves, not for anyone, but we are using it. Okay, we are using it. Are produced by them actually as a defense against the grazers and browsers. Sarna? This is called as predation. This is the entire thing is called as predation. And how predation is happening? What are plants are doing against it? How are animals predating? So what are the three advantages? ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಕಲಿಯಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ಪಾಠನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು 2-3 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ನೌ? ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ನೌ? The next topic is called as competition. Can we start? Yes. Next topic is called as competition. When Darwin spoke of struggle for existence and survival of the fittest in nature, he was convinced that the interspecific competition is a potent force for organic evolution. ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದು? ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಯಾವತ್ತು ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಅಂದರೆ 2 species have to compete. When 2 species are competing, there will always be one species which is superior. Superior species will evolve. Inferior species will perish. Survival of fittest. For example, there is one tiger and different 2 tigers. One tiger is bigger. Bigger tiger will survive. Okay. But usually what happens is, it is always between 2 different species. One tiger agirbodu, jaguar agirbeku. So tiger will survive more. Okay. That is interspecific. Okay. It is generally believed that competition occurs when closely related species compete for the same resource that are limiting. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಬಂತು. ಒಂದೇ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಬ್ರದರ್ or ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್. You have a brother or a sister and there is only a single chips packet. Now ಹೇಳಿ ಈಗ ನೀವು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಬ್ಬರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಫೈಟ್ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಾ? ಆಗುತ್ತಾನೆ. So because there is only a single chips packet, both of you are fighting for that one chips packet or one biscuit packet. Both of you are fighting for it. Okay, the resources are limited. Competition between 2 people. Okay, but this is not entirely true. Firstly, totally unrelated species could also compete for the same resource. For example, ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದು, ನೀವಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂಗಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. You and your sister, both of you are fighting for chips packet, but you also have a brother in the house. You also have a friend. For example, your friend is there. You and your sister is connected. Both of you are related, but you and your friend unrelated little, not by blood. But your friend also likes the chips packet. He'll also fight for the chips packet now. So artha ಏನು, a single resource can be fought between 2 related species and also unrelated species. A friend can also fight with you for the same chips packet. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? So related species can also fight, unrelated species can also fight for the same resource. But this is not entirely true. First, total unrelated species could also compete for the same resource. For instance, example ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Some shallow South American lakes visiting flamingo. So one is flamingo. It's a fight between a flamingo and fishes. Flamingo and recent fishes compete for their common food, the zooplanktons. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, flamingo and fishes, both of them are unrelated, but both are fighting for what? Both are fighting for zooplankton. That is a common food. I am fighting, my friend is fighting, both of us are fighting for the same chips packet in the lake. Secondly, resources need not be limiting for the competition to occur. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನೀನು ಅಂತರಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ 4 ಬಂದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಫೈಟ್ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಂತ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಂತ ಫೈಟ್ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೆ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್. ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಫೈಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಡಿ ಇದೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಲಿಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಟು ಅಕರ್. In interference competition, the feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced due to the interfering and inhibitory presence of other species. ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಇದರದು? ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 10 ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ ಬ್ರದರು, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ದೇರ್, ಮೈ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಹೂವರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಟ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟರ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫುಡ್. ನಾನು ಬೇಗ ತಿಂದರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಬೇಗ ಊಟ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, resource need not be limiting for competition to occur. In interference competition, ಏನದು, the feeding efficiency of one species, ನಾನು ಬೇಗ ತಿಂತೀನಿ, ನಂಗೆ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ, might be reduced due to the interference of inhibitory presence of other species. ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಊಟ ತಿನ್ನೋ ಅಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That is called as interference. Okay, even the resource of food or space are abundant, therefore competition is best defined in definition. Friends, example ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Competition is best defined as the process in which fitness of one species measure in terms of R. Okay, measure in terms of R, intrinsic rate of natural increase is significantly lower in the presence of another species. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. For example, I have species A here and have species B here. For example, here R value, let's say, is around 0.1. When this species is alone, ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ the R value is around 0.1 or 1 ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಥರ ಇರಲ್ಲ. R value is 1. When the A species is here, the R value is said to be 1. But students, when species B is also present in the same area, if the species B is present in the same area, if species B is also there, what will happen that time? When species B is here, the R value of this particular A species will reduce into, let's say, 0.5. Why? Because this species is superior. Just because this species is present in the area, the R value is going down. This is called as competition. Competition kuda yavattenagutte, because of this present species is there. This is a superior species. For example, lion ankoliddu, idondu lion. Okay, ಇದು lion, idondu let's say it's a puma, small cat. Okay, puma. Just because lion is present, the feeding efficiency, the R value of puma is reduced. That is called as competition. So in competing species, one is superior. When this species is superior, the R value will reduce for this one. Okay, let's say R value is 2 here for this one. Now, intraspecific, same species. Interspecific, different species. Okay, now it is relatively easy to demonstrate in laboratory experiments as Gauss and other experimental ecologists did. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದು? When resources are limited, single chips packet, the competitively superior species will eventually eliminate the other species. ಒಂದೇ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟು ನಾನಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ತಂಗಿ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ, ನಂಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Compared to superior species will survive, inferior one will not survive. Okay, but when the resources are limited, the compared to superior species will eventually eliminate the other species. But evidence for such competition exclusion occurrence in nature is not always conclusive. ಯಾವತ್ತೂ conclusive ಇರಲ್ಲ ಇದರ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ಯಾಕೆ? Strong and persuasive circumstances evidence does exist. However, in some cases, the abundant tortoise in Galapagos Island became extinct within a decade after goats were introduced on the island. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗೋಡ್ಸು ಊಟ ಬೇಗ ತಿಂತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಟಾರ್ಟಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಲಪ್ಯಾಗೋಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈಟಿಂಗ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್. ಅವಾಗೇನಾಯ್ತು? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗೋಟ್, the R value of tortoise became less. Since R value of tortoise became less, goat survived and everywhere, and this tortoise became completely extinct. Okay, another evidence for occurrence of competition in nature comes from what is called as competitive release. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದೇನು competitive release, very important concept. What is competitive release? For example, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಏರಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ನ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಏರಿಯಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ and I have one more species here. Let's take, this is called as species A, this is called as species B. ಎರಡು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ A, ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ B, ಎರಡು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Now students understand, this species A is not able to grow. This species A is not able to grow in population. Why? Because species B is present here, and species B is dominant, and this dominant species will not allow A to grow. Artha madkoli, this species A is not able to grow now. Why? It is not able to grow well. It is not able to grow. This species is completely not able to grow because of species B. Because of species B, this population is not able to grow now. Now what if students, what if, let's say for example, if I completely remove, what if I completely remove species B from here? Experiment wise, if I remove species B, what will happen? Tell me now. Akasmatagi nanu, if I remove the species B from here, then what happens is this species A will start to grow. This species A will start to grow very well. That is called as competitive release. New competition remove arbitrarily. So species A is able to grow now. Artha madkoli. See this. A species whose distribution is restricted to a small geographical area. Species whose distribution small area, certain small area, because of presence of comparatively superior species. ನೋಡೋದಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಬಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಬಿ ಇತ್ತು. Because of species B, this one was not able to grow. Because of presence of comparatively superior species is found to expand distribution. Okay, is found to expand its distribution range dramatically when the competing species is experimentally removed. ನಾನು ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಈ ಬಿ ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬಿ ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಈ ಎ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗ್ರೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಗ ದಿಸ್ ಎ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಕರ್ನಲ್ ಎಲೆಗೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಮಂಚಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಕರ್ನಲ್ ಎಲೆಗೆಂಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ showed that on the rocky sea coast of Scotland, the larger and competitive superior barnacle, that is called as balanus. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್? ಇಲ್ಲಿ in this area, this balanus, the blue color one, the balanus is more superior. The balanus is taking this area also, here also. The entire ನೀರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನ ಈ balanus ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಡಾನ್ ಇದು. This balanus is taking care of all the land. Now tell me students, what will happen if I completely remove bananas from here. ಈ completely bananas remove ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. If I completely remove bananas from here, this Catalamus, ಈ species ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ grow ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ. This species will come down now. It will come down, start growing everywhere. Just like how? Just like in this particular area, as soon as students, as soon as B was removed, A was able to expand very well. Because we removed B. So if you remove Catalamus if you remove balanas from here, this Catalamus will start to grow everywhere. That is called as competitive release. It is called as competitive release. A Colonel Elegant field experiment showed that on a rocky sea coast of Scotland, the larger and competitive superior barnacle ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಿಮಗೆ? Barnacle is a ಹುಳ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ವೇಲ್ಸ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವೇಲ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ವೇಲು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ಹಿಂದೆ. That is called as a barnacle. Okay, barnacle dominates the interior area and excludes the smaller barnacle Catalamus from the zone. In general, herbivores, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇದು? So it is removing it, but if you remove the bananas, the other one will grow. Okay, in general, herbivores and plants appear to be more adversely affected by competition than carnivores. Plants ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, plants ಓಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, herbivores ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, but carnivores not much. Okay, now students, Gauss competitive exclusion principle states that two closely related species competing for the same resource cannot coexist independently and competitive inferior one will be eventually eliminated. Two species which are closely related, me, sister, both of them are related. One chips packet, I will eat, I will survive, she will not eat, eliminate. This may be true if the resources are limiting, but not otherwise. Most recent studies do not support such gross generalization about competition. While they do not rule out the occurrence of interspecific competition in nature, they point out that species facing competition might evolve mechanisms that promotes coexistence rather than exclusion. ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಿರ್ದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಐ 2 ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ಸ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ವಿರೇಶ್ and let's take Kush. Here we have Kush, here we have Viresh. Now I will give them one chocolate. Let's say I'll give them a munch chocolate. Now there are two things which can happen here. First, they'll both fight. I want. Then both of them will fight, and whoever wins will get the chips packet or will get the chocolate. Okay. The other thing is that they can take the chocolate, break it into half. One half Viresh will eat, other half your Kush will eat. Yes or no? 50-50 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. That is called as resource partitioning. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. That is called as resource partitioning. ನಾವು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಸರಿನಾ? ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Two species competing for the same resource, they could avoid competition by choosing, for instance, different times for feeding or different forage patterns. ಬೇರೆ ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. MacArthur showed that 5 closely related species of warbles ಒಂದು ಬರ್ಡ್ ಅದು, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಮೇಜ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದು ವಾಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. Every single bird is eating different part of the plant. ಈ ವಾಬಲ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? This warble right here will feed on this part. ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ವಾರ್ಬಲ್ ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ. This warble top position. This warble feeds on this area. This warble feeds on the lowermost area. So can you see? They're dividing. These warbles are dividing the food which they are getting. One warble is eating from one part, other warble is eating from other part. This is called as resource partitioning. 50-50 ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ, 50-50. Sarna, it's called as resource partitioning. So with that, competition is also over. Now students, I want everyone to drink some water. ನಾನು ವಾಟರ್ ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, so I'll quickly go get some water. 2 minutes. Sarna? Everyone drink some water. Hello students. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೀರು ಕುಡೀರಿ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ. ನಾವು ಈಗ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್. ಇದೊಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕಮೆನ್ಸರಿಸಮ್, ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿಸಮ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಮುಗೀತಿದ್ದು. ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಮುಗಿದೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್? ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟೆಡ್, ಅದರ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಹಿಯರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟಿಂಗ್, ಅದರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ತಲೆ ಕೆರಿತಾನೆ, ತಲೆ ಕೆರಿತಾನೆ, ತಲೆ ಕೆರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ scratching the head happens. That is called basic example of ectoparasite. So parasitism only one organism will attack you but it will not kill you. It will attack you but it will not kill you, but it will completely take away your life from the inside. That is called as parasitism. Okay, see, considering that the parasitic mode of life ensures free lodging and meals. ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಊಟ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ parasitism ಅಲ್ಲಿ. It is not surprising that parasitism has evolved in so many taxonomical groups, from plants to higher vertebrates. So plants allu kuda parasitism ide. Kaskuta example, last year 2024 question nimgidu sarna, KCET alli Kaskuta is a type, which type of organism, sarna? So many taxonomic groups from plants to higher vertebrates. Many parasites have evolved to host specific, artha ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ, very important into one parasite will attack only one organism, ಬೇರೆ organism ಮುಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ ಅದು. That is called as host specific. Okay, they can parasitize only a single species of the host in such a way that both host and the parasite tend to co-evolve. ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಿದ್ರದ್ದು? If the parasite is evolving, when the host will evolve. For example, I'm the host. I don't want the parasite on my body. I will evolve to make sure the parasite is not attaching to me. For example, ನನ್ನ ಬಾಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ I will develop iron scales. ಒಂದು ಐರನ್ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಐರನ್ದು. Now all parasite do? Parasite will make sure now it has the ability to break the iron also. So now protection ಮಾಡ್ತಾ it will also develop more stronger weapons. Higher defense, stronger weapons. Sarna? Now, the host evolves special mechanism for rejecting or resisting the parasite. The parasites have to evolve mechanisms to counteract and neutralize them in order to be successful with the same host species. In accordance with their lifestyle, parasites evolved special adaptations such as loss of unnecessary sense organs or beda do. Sense organs se beda aega because they can easily attack now. They don't want any sensory organs. Once they join, they don't need eyes, they don't need mouth, they don't need ears, nothing they need. Okay, so loss of sensory organs, presence of adhesive organs or suckers to cling onto the host. One attachment irutte, it can attach onto you, clingers. Sarna? Loss of digestive system, complete ಆಗಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು digestive system ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. ಸರಿ, loss of digestive system ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗ. High reproductive capacity ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು. So all of these are PY students. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ. ಸರಿನಾ? Life cycle of parasites are often complex, involving one or two intermediate host or vectors. Host is vectors ಇರುತ್ತೆ. For example, Plasmodium vivax is the organism which is causing malaria. ಅದು mosquito ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, which is a vector. Mosquito ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. We are the host. So for malaria parasite, we are the host. Mosquito is the vector. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. There is a difference. Involving one to intermediate host or vectors to facilitate parasitism or its primary host. The human liver fluke, a nematode parasite, depends on two intermediates. ಈ ಲಿವರ್ ಫ್ಲೂಕ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಲಿವರ್ ಫ್ಲೂಕ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಸ್ನೇಲ್, then it will go to fish, then it will come out. So it has two intermediate host, liver fluke. This is called as copypod. Copypod is a type of ectoparasite. Present on the outside. Okay. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. The human liver fluke ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, the malaria parasite needs a vector, the mosquito, to spread to other host. So mosquito is a vector, Plasmodium is the causative agent, we are the host. Now host ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ನಾ? Majority of the parasites harm the host. They may reduce the survival, growth and reproduction of the host and reduce the population density. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. For example, malaria. When the malaria dengue comes, our body becomes completely weak and we become very vulnerable to all diseases. Okay. The might render the host more vulnerable to predation by making it physically weak. Now, do you believe that ideal parasite should be able to thrive within the host without harming it? ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? Parasites that feed on external surface of the host organism is called as ectoparasite. Ectoparasite is the organism which grows on the outside. Endoparasite grows on the inside of the body. Okay, ectoparasite on the outside, endoparasite on the inside. Ectoparasite example, lice and ticks on the dogs. ಹುಳಗಳು ಮೈ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಹುಳಗಳು, that is called as ectoparasite. One more example of ectoparasite is Cuscuta plant. Cuscuta ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. This is called as Cuscuta. ಈ ತರ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಜಾಲಿ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇರೋದು. This particular plant has no leaf, no chlorophyll. Found growing in hedge plants, lost the capacity of the chlorophyll and leaves. Okay. It derives the nutrition from the plant, which is the parasite. The female mosquito is not considered as a parasite, although it needs blood. It's not a parasite, it is a vector. This is called as copypods. Cuscuta. Then we have endoparasites. Endoparasite what irutte? Endoparasite will be inside our body. The parasite will enter inside. The eggs will enter inside. Okay. It will be present in liver, kidney, lung, blood cells, ella kade barutte. The life cycle of endoparasites are more complex because of their extreme specialization. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಬ್ರೂಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಬ್ರೂಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸಿಟಿಸಮ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಟೆಲ್ ಮೀ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಟೆಲ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಗ್? ಎರಡು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಇದೆಯಾ? ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. This egg and this egg, both the eggs are different from each other. We can tell that. But if this crow cannot. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೇಚರಲ್ಲಿ the cuckoo bird, the koel, right? Koel will never make a nest. A koel will never make a nest. It will lay the eggs in the crow's nest. If, for example, ಇದು crow the nest, the koel will go and it will nicely go and lay the eggs and come off. And the crow doesn't even know what is happening. The crow will think this egg is my egg only. It will incubate nicely, and that's how brood parasitism works. But sometimes what happens is, students, this crow can count how many eggs are there. For example, there is 1 2 3 4 5 6 eggs were there before. Sometimes in nature what happens is, this koel will break one egg and release one egg, so that the crow doesn't know the number of eggs, missing egg. So very risky thing happens in the nature. It's called as brood parasitism between koel and a crow. Kage matte kogile maddeli. Here the crow doesn't even know what is happening. That is called as brood parasitism. The next concept is called as commensalism. Commensalism is very simple commensalism. One species is benefited, other species doesn't even care. For example ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. First example is orchid. This orchid is growing on a mango tree. The mango tree doesn't care. The mango tree doesn't even care, but the orchid benefiting. Barnacle on the whale. Whale doesn't care, but barnacle is surviving because of the surface. Other example is egret and the cow. ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ಊರ್ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ, ಸರಿನಾ? Now here the cow doesn't care. The cow doesn't care what is happening, but the egret is benefiting. How? When this cow is walking, it is moving all the grass. When the grass is moving, the egret is coming and eating, benefiting. It is benefiting easily. Okay. Other example is clownfish and sea anemone. Here sea anemone doesn't benefit. ಏನು benefit ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ, but this clownfish is able to benefit by hiding in the tentacles from predators. ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫಿಶ್ ಬಂತು, ಬಂದು ಬಚ್ಚಿಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ಒಡೆದು, ಸರಿನಾ? So one is benefited, other one is nothing, nor harm, not benefited. So that is the end of commensalism. Last topic is called as mutualism. In mutualism, both the species are benefited. ಇವ್ರಿಗೂ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಟು. And the best example is a lichen. Lichen, all of you know, right? Lichen is a symbiotic association between a fungi as well as the algae. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. This interaction confers benefit for both the interacting species. Lichen is ನೋಡಿ. Lichen represents an intimate mutualistic relationship between a fungi and photosynthetic algae or a cyanobacteria. Other example is mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae will be present. It's a fungus. ಈ ಫಂಗಸ್ ನಿಮ್ದು ಗಿಡದ್ದು ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. For example, students, see this. If this is the tree, this is a root, there will be a fungus growing. The fungus and the tree has a connection. That is called as mycorrhizae. Sarna? Now students, one more example you might have known. In nature, plants and animals has a very good relation. But if the animals have to do the work for plants, the animals will ask for fees. For example, here I have a flower. For example, students, here I have a flower. Let's take, I have a flower here. If a honeybee has to come and pollinate the flower has to pay the honeybee by not money kodalla, but the flower will give some amount of nectar kodutte, and this nectar is taken up by the insect and the insect will fly off. Okay, so understand. The most spectacular and evolutionary fascinating example of mutualistic are found in plant-animal interactions. Plants need help of animals for pollination and their flowers and dispersal of seeds. Seeds ಕೂಡ dispersal ಗೋಸ್ಕರ. For example, ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೀ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಮಂಕಿ ಕುಂತಿದೆ. ಆ ಟ್ರೀ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ಟ್ರೀ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಮಂಕಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾವಿನಕಾಯಿ ಎತ್ಕೊಳುತ್ತೆ, ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ, It'll eat how much it wants and throw the remaining seed out. ಮಂಕಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ನ ತಿಂದು ಆ ಸೀಡ್ನ ಬಿಸಾಕತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಬಿಸಾಕಿದ ಜಾಗದಿಂದಾನೆ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ಗಿಡ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ. Seed dispersal. A mango will eat the seed. The monkey will eat the fruit and throw the seed away. And wherever the seed falls from the ground, from that spot, a new plant is coming up. New plant is coming up. Seed dispersal. Seed dispersal. Okay. Animals obviously have to be paid fees for the service service that plants expect from them. Plants offer rewards or fees in the form of pollen or nectar. ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ honeybees ಗೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? But the mutual benefit system should also be safeguarded against cheaters. Obviously, ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಚೀಟರ್ ಬಂದು ಹನಿ ತಿಂದೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು? ನಾವೇ ಅದು ನಾವು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹನಿ ತಿಂದೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. So very bad for the plant. For example, animals that try to steal nectar without adding the pollinators. Now you see why plant animal interaction often involves co-evolution. So ಈ ಚೀಟರ್ಸ್ನ ಆಚೆ ಹಾಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸೊ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟಿಮೇಟ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್. ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಸರಿನಾ? Coevolution of plants and pollinators species are tightly linked with one another. In many species of fig, example nodi, fig tree, there is a tight one-to-one relationship with the pollinators of species of wasp. It means that a given fig species, one fig species na ಒಂದು wasp ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗದೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಫಿಗ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ನ ಒಂದು ವಾಸ್ಪ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಂದು ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ಆಗಿ ವಾಸ್ಪ್ ಬಂದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಿಗ್, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಸ್ಪ್, ಈ ಎರಡು ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೇ ವಾಸ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಏನು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಏನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಾಸ್ಪ್ ಏನು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜು, ದ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ವಾಸ್ಪ್ uses the fruit for not only laying eggs but also use the developing seeds within the fruit for nutrition. So ವಾಸ್ಪ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಗ್ಸ್ನ ಲೇ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಎಗ್ಸ್ ಲೇ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಫಿಗ್ದು ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ. ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಲಾರ್ವೆ ಅದು ಸೀಡ್ಸು. ಓಕೆ, ದ ವಾಸ್ಪ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಫಿಗ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೋರೆಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಸರ್ಚಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೂಟಬಲ್ ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಎಗ್ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ವಾಸ್ಪು ಎಗ್ಸ್ ಈಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಗ್ಸ್ನ ಬಿಡ್ತು, ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ತಿಂತು, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫಿಗ್. ಸರಿನಾ? In return for the favor of the pollination, the fig offers wasp some of its developing seeds as food for developing wasp larvae. So ಎರಡು ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ನಾನಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀನಂಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸರಿನಾ? ನಾ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದು? ಈ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೆಸರು ಆಫ್ರಯಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಅಮೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Orchids show a bewildering diversity of floral patterns, okay, of which have evolved to attract right pollinators, bees and bumblebees, and ensure guaranteed pollination. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Not all orchids offer rewards. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. A Mediterranean orchid, Ophrys, employs sexual deceit. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದು, ಈ ಫ್ಲವರ್ದು ಒಂದು ಪೆಟಲು will look like a female bee, and this is the male bee. The male bee will come here thinking it is a female bee and pseudocopulates. This bee doesn't even know it is not a bee. When this bee is coming and sitting here and pollinating, when coming in copulation, in that time the pollen grain is dusted here. Now the same bee will go somewhere else for copulation thinking it is female bee. Pollination done. Okay, so one petal of the flower bears a uncanny resemblance of the female bee in its size, color and marking. The male bee is attracted to what it perceives as female, pseudocopulates with the flower, and during that process it dusts with the pollen grains from the flower. When the same bee pseudocopulates with another flower, it transfers the pollen and thus pollinates the flower. Here you can see how the co-evolution operates also. ಹೆಂಗೆ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ರಿಯಲ್ ಹನಿ ಬಿ ರಿಯಲ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಈ ಮೇಲ್ ಬಿ ಬಂದು ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಬಿ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ದ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಬಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಇಸ್ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್, this petal also will change. If the female bee is getting a white line on the body, this petal also will get a white line on the body. That is called as coevolution. That is called as coevolution. Okay. And students, with that, your entire chapter is over. The entire chapter of organism and population is over. And let me tell you, students, ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇಂದ KCET ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೆನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಓದವಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಆಲ್ ದ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಂದು ಹೈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದರಿಂದ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ವೆಲ್, ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ನೋ ದ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ನಂಗೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಯು ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ದೆನ್, ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು. Bye bye. Good night all of you. Bye bye. Take care.